It's getting better. Still a few holdouts. Welcome, everyone. We have a record crowd today. There's no doubt about it. And the people in the back, you're not hearing too well back there? Okay, let's somebody go out there and have the staff turn up the PA system a little better. I think when you all get quiet, you should hear better, but it might be better if we turn it up a little bit. We thank you all for coming, and I hope you get some information out of this meeting today that you all came to. We have, I think, a record by any means that we've had at any of our meetings so far. We had more people here today than we ever had before, so we thank you for that. Okay, our normal thing. We have our budget. Our report, financial report, is down to $18,409, and that's about the majority of the expenses paid for remodeling. So you can see we're still doing very well. And that includes all the equipment that we bought. Next month we'll have a slide. We're going to talk more about the remodel program, and we'll show in detail a little bit about how much we actually spent on the project and give you a little idea. But it turns out to be about $13,000, $14,000, I believe. Membership has gone up a few since we were open 1 day, 2 days. 2 days we had a few more members than last month, but we're not really accurate yet on that account. Now we're open, and this is a big improvement for our group. We have about 400 square feet more. We could have had 800 square foot more if we had a bigger building. But we got more space. That's the main thing. We got more room for computers, and should work out. There's still a few things that aren't working. We're working on those. But we should have it up and running very shortly, everything. So everybody just take that into consideration when you come over. You might find out, like, I know that the picture scanner isn't working at the moment, but it might be by Monday. So I would like to thank our people, all the people that helped on that remodeling project, and especially Joe Quinn, who's made a big effort. A huge effort is really what it boils down to. He drew it, he made it, and he made it work. So Joe, talk about
I truly appreciate both the private and public acclamations I got, the attaboys. I appreciate that. But the truth being known, there's a lot of other people behind it. There are some people I'd like to mention quickly. One of them is George Sebastian for his encouragement and his leadership in this whole project. Frank Geister for his hard work, and also he's the generator of what I consider to be the centerpiece of the whole classroom, and that's the projector. When you guys see it, it is awesome. It really is. When anybody teaches classes, they'll love it. To Jim Nelson for the lighting and his work on setting lighting. It's really a unique way of where we can dim lights in half steps and stuff like that. Cliff, would you stand up? Cliff was my right-hand man, except in his case it's left hand. And wouldn't have got through a lot of the stuff that we got through without his help on the software and computers. There are a lot of other people. I could go on forever. There's Bill Zaletti, Ken Zawinski, John Sterling, many others like Stan and Tony and Bob and Molly and Don. Of course, there was Howie with the checkbook when we needed it, so he kept us in line on expenditures. I'd also like to thank the CAM people. Dave's group was absolutely superb. in both getting the quotes and purchasing a lot of the material for building the walls. He did a superb job. Steve and Kevin were there at all kinds of hours working and putting that stuff together. Did a superb job. Julie, she helped us keep us going when Frank and George and those guys were helping members keep their computers running on Mondays and Thursdays, and for giving Cliff and I a place to work so we can continue getting ready for the opening of the lab. There's also a lot of other people. You got to thank the community board and the subcommittees, the finance and the facilities group for the hard work of putting this whole thing together. It's been, I don't know how many, it's been about a year in the works, so there's a lot of other people behind the scenes that people didn't even begin to see. The computer board for their input and how this really came together and formulated. A lot of things that happened during that year weren't even considered in the beginning, the projector being one of those. We went to Frank's ex-place of work to see it, and we all just fell in love with it, and wound up costing us about the same amount of money as a new projector, and a screen would have cost us anyway, and it's head and shoulders above anything I've ever seen. I want to thank you guys, all the members for the club, for your financial support. There was a lot of people that came and went and helped, too numerous for me to even to mention. There's also the people of the community. A lot of the money that went into this was part of the community's money, and I think it's well spent because we do help a lot of people in the community, not just members of this club. We support the website. We've taught classes on the website. We work with the administrators on the website, and a lot of those people are not members of the club, and we do that as a community service. But I want to thank all of you people for your support, especially the board, computer board. Thank you very much.
Let's give Joe another hand. He should show his We're going to have an open house for the folks that just don't want to come over because they don't want to get involved in the crowd with they don't have no computer problem at the time, but they want to see the lab. It'll be, we're going to have maybe 2 of them, and one we'll have be later in the year. I think it'll be in November sometime. But the first one will be on Wednesday, September 16th. It'll be 9 to, I think it's 1 or 12, but something around that time. Get in there in the morning. It'll just be talking about what we can do in the lab and seeing the lab. So that'll be on a Wednesday morning. And it's not this next week, it's the week after. So it's, you have to wait a whole week and a half. But you could come Monday too. Not Monday, Tuesday night. We have Labor Day, we're not open Monday. We talked about this last month, about not putting Windows 10 on your computer until we got a little experience with it. So I just thought I'd give you a minute, report some of the things we've had. We've had about 10 to 20 people have put Windows on last month, even though we said, maybe not the best idea. And we've seen about 8 of them, 10 of them in the lab, or out here, when we were out here, with problems. So we know that there are some problems with drivers on your computer that will cause Windows 10 to not install correctly. Hopefully we'll get some more information on that later on, but just maybe wait a little longer and we'll get all the little, everybody will get smarter on what it takes to put it on successfully. And you can't really tell if you got a new computer, an old computer. It really depends on what drivers were stuck on your computer. And some cases, manufacturers have done that. They put old drivers on your computer when it was sold to you. Now, if Windows doesn't take them old drivers off, and the address calls and the instructions in those drivers interfere, well, then that's the reason why it hangs up and won't run. So we'll have to, the longer you wait, the better it'll more likely run smooth when they figure out all the little wrinkles. But not all of them will be figured out. You know, there's always going to be some particular hardware situation on your computer that will cause it a problem. So, majority of the people should just go smooth. It will, but there's going to be some problems. Okay, community matters. We have today got a good crowd here. When this meeting's over, go over to the pavilion and you can buy your mums. They're having their mum sale today from 9 to noon. You'll most likely miss the good, the great plans, but you'll still get some. Then there is the memorial. I think it's our 5th year. They presenting a memorial to the 9/11, and that will be September 9th through the 11th. You can look in the Lifestyle magazine for all the details on what times the events are going to take place. This is we know the election for board members. We're not going to have one this year. The board, we had 5 people run for the board, and they had 5 vacancies, so it was automatic. And during, they'll have a presentation though with those people at the NAC, or Neighborhood Advisory Council meeting. We'll have a presentation on September 21st in the Drendel Ballroom here, and they'll tell a little bit about themselves and what their theories are on the management style that they're going to work with. So it might be interesting. We got mostly repeat performances, got 1 new member, and they'll all have a period of time, and we'll also have some questions that they're going to ask the people to respond on. So, and I think there'll be a spot where you can ask questions, or at least after the meeting. Okay, come on. The board of directors will meet the 23rd, 1 o'clock, Brendel. And then we have our last event, I think in September, is the Hoofers and Home. And it's going to be on September 27th. And you can check on the prices and the tickets on the Lifestyle magazine. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to our training director, Ralph, and he'll
Somebody leaned against
the switch. We'll turn the lights on for you in a little bit.
Oh, I thought it was enough to talk in the dark. I thought, well, that's what they think of me. Shut the lights down. Well, Frank has made up a slide showing what we're going to be offering in September. Matter of fact, first time I've seen it, other than on the screen. But I wanted to mention a few things about our classes. A year and a half ago, when they talked me into doing this, I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't, but I do know who the smart people are that can put on classes. Yeah. And right now in our database, we have 54 different classes we can teach on 44 different subjects. You can say, well, how does that? Well, some of the subjects require more than 1 class. And I try to schedule between 40 and 50 classes in the 9 months we teach. We do not have classes for our members only in July and August, and also December. And we have other things then. Now, here's the thing that we really need to talk about. We've only got 15 people that have volunteered to teach the classes. And I know for sure, people out here sitting in these chairs or standing along the wall that have the ability and the knowledge to teach a class. Hopefully, you'll come forward and either get a hold of me. I was going to say, look for a little short guy with bald head and old, and I thought, oh, there may be more than one person that fits that description. But if you don't know me and you don't see me, just give your name to any one of the monitors in the lab. Tell them to give it to Ralph. I'll call you and we'll discuss. Maybe it's a subject we don't even have in the database, because there's a lot of new things coming out.
and we'll determine if that would be a class that we can get people to. We've had anywhere from 1 to 54, I think, in our classes. So there's things that are more interesting than others. But we really do need more instructors, because you can see if we're putting on 40 to 50 classes, we got 15 instructors, somebody's doing more than one. And I'd like to get it down to, maybe 2 or 3. Well, I think the reason everybody's here, well, first of all, I want to preference this. When I talked to Roselle and May over at the store in Woodfield, talked about, coming over September 5th, she said, well, that's Labor Day weekend, you won't have anybody. And I said, well, I don't know, July the 4th. We had a pretty good crowd, so I said, we might. And what we got? A record crowd. Yeah, all right. But anyway, you came here for Windows 10, and we're fortunate to have a person that works at the store over in Woodfield. She's been there 3 years. She's been running Windows 10 for about 9 months. She actually teaches the class at the store. If you go over there and take a Windows 10 class, she teaches the class. So I'm sure that she's going to have a lot of interesting things to talk to you about. So join me in welcoming Annie Hernandez.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Yeah, this is the biggest crowd I've ever been in front of, so it's pretty crazy. Like Ralph said, I work at the Microsoft store at Woodfield, so we're right down the street, and we're very close. So really excited about Windows 10. Just a show of hands, how many people want to download? I mean, obviously they haven't recommended it to you yet, but how many people want to? A lot of you guys, right? Awesome. So, oh. Okay, sorry. Like this far? Okay, this works. Alright, so I'm going to see if this video will work. It's just a cool new way of showing how much more human Windows 10 is. And it's definitely going to change the way that you see your computer, the way that you see technology, and the way that you see Microsoft. So let's see if it'll...
Imagine, these kids who like to remember passwords are obsessed about security. For them, every screen is meant to be touched, and web pages are meant to be scribbled on and shared. They'll expect their devices to listen to them, and talk, and sing, tell a funny joke. And as they grow and get better at things, the technology will too. They'll do things their parents never even dreamed of. Because these kids will grow up with Windows 10. Yeah. The future starts now. For all of us. Get started today. Windows 10. A more human way to do.
Who doesn't love Windows, right? Alright, so this is my personal Surface. So this is just going to give you a good idea of what a personalized device looks like. And like Ralph said, I'm part of the Windows Insider program. So I've been playing with Windows 10 for about 9 months now. So I've seen every single little bit of changes that's gone through each new update. But what I really love about it is how we took all of the feedback that everyone has given us and really put it into an operating system. So it's pretty great. So the first thing you guys are going to notice about Windows 10 is that it's going to be all desktop based. Meaning, if you're familiar with Windows 8, you know that there's a Metro mode, which is full screen apps, and then you also have your desktop separately. So this is going to bring everything to the desktop, similar to Windows 7 and previous operating systems, but it's also going to mix a little bit of that Windows 8 in there too. So the first thing I'm going to show you is probably the most familiar thing that you guys know, and that's going to be the Start button. So I'm just going to click right here on the lower left-hand corner, and you guys are going to see it looks a little different. So we have kind of a mix of Windows 8 with our Start tiles over here, and then we also have a mix of our Windows 7 on the left side here. So what's great about this is that you can personalize it any way that you want. So you can see here I have a couple different groups. My first one being personal, with like my Netflix, my App Store, etc. Then I also have like my work group with all of my office stuff. I have an Adobe group and an apartment I just got promoted, so now I have to look for a place. But what's really great about it is you can actually change the size of this. So for those of you who liked Windows 8, you can actually make this full screen if you wanted to. Or if you still want to keep it on the desktop, all you have to do is take your mouse and move it on the edge here, and you can make it wider, or you can also make it shorter. So it's pretty nice because you can make it literally any size that you want. And you can also customize the colors of the tiles and the transparency of the start menu here. So what you guys will also notice is my most used stuff is going to show up at the top. So once you open more things, Windows gets to know more about you and realizes that, hey, John uses, Microsoft Edge a lot. He likes to read a lot of articles, so it's going to put that up front. And then you're also going to have your File Explorer, which is going to be exactly the same as any other operating system that you've seen. So if I click on that, it's familiar, because you're going to have your Documents folder, your Videos folder, everything the same place. The only difference that you might see is that now there's a OneDrive folder here. And OneDrive is our cloud. So this is where all of your stuff would be stored if you want to save it as a backup. But what's great about it is, instead of having to go to a website and upload all your documents, you can easily drag and drop just like you would in any other folder. So it's pretty great. And what you'll also notice in the File Explorer is there's actually, maybe once I open something else up, you'll see recent files down here. So anything that I've worked on recently will show up at the bottom here. So that makes it a lot easier for me to find stuff, especially if I don't know where to save it, because half the time I don't remember. So I'm going to go back to the start menu here. And you guys will see this is where you turn off your computer. So just like in Vista, that's in the same place. With Windows 8, it's a little different because there used to be charms, and those are no longer there, but I'll go into that in a second. Okay? If we click into all apps here, we actually get a full list of everything on our computer. So that means apps and programs. And the reason I say apps is because we have an app store. So just like you have a tablet and a smartphone, it's great because I only need one device to do everything. So here you can see I have a ton of stuff. But what's nice about it, and they brought something over from Windows Phone, is that you can actually click on the letter and you can actually hop to any section that you want. So I could have been A for Adobe, and now I want to go to my settings. So all I have to do is click on the S, and it'll jump me straight there. So it's really nice because I don't have to scroll. Especially, I know a lot of you guys probably have a lot of stuff, right? So it's pretty nice because it's just such a time saver. You guys will also notice next to the start menu here, it says Ask Me Anything, and it's kind of a little cut off there. But this is actually Cortana. Has anyone heard about Cortana or know who she is? A little bit? So Cortana is actually from a video game of ours called Halo. And she is our digital assistant. And it's great because you can personalize her and really she'll get to know you a lot. So here she says good morning to me because she's really nice. And she's letting me know, hey, look, I have I remind her at 11:12 I have to pay for my concert tickets. But I can actually scroll down and she's going to give me everything that I like to learn about. So pretty much news related. I like to read a lot of news. So she'll give me top news, any local news. So she knows I'm in Huntley right now. So she's giving me all of the top news for Huntley based on your location. I'm addicted to makeup, so obviously I have my makeup news there and Microsoft news. But it's great because I can also see my stock here, I can see the weather, and I can see the next Cubs game because that's really important to me. Did anyone see how they did yesterday? Yeah, check this out. All I have to do is type in this Cubs score. Boom, 14-5. That's crazy. Pretty awesome. You can see searching for stuff is just that easy. All I have to do is type. She already knows what I'm looking for, so I don't have to go searching for it everywhere. You also can see that some of the menus have changed a little bit. So in a lot of apps, you're going to see what's called a hamburger menu. And that's going to be these three little lines at the top corner here. And what that's going to do is it's going to expand here so you can see what the icons mean. So you can see here it's highlighted at home because that's where we're at. But to customize Cortana, she has a notebook, just like every good assistant should. So if you click on this notebook here, this is everything that I can customize with her. And it's fantastic because she can track my packages, she can track my flights. I can literally ask her, hey, when's Alaska Flight 23, landing, and she'll tell me right away. She can also set reminders, which is awesome because you can set it based on people, places, or things. And you can really just pretty much get to know her in a different way. So for example, I can show you like, let's see here, like eat and drink. So based on what I like, she'll give me recommendations on places to eat based on where I am and how much I want to spend. So I can change a few different, criteria here. So I can tell her, hey, I like, bars and grills, I like to go to diners, Chinese, Italian, but you can really add whatever you'd like. So she kind of gets to know you in a different way. Right underneath the notebook area here, there's a little whiteboard, and this is for reminders. And this is awesome because, like I said, you have time, place, and people reminders. And I always forget that, I have to do stuff, so you can see I have a couple different ones. It's really nice. All you have to do is talk to her, or you can just click on the plus sign here. So let me see if this is going to work for me. I'm going to ask her to remind me when I go to the grocery store to get something. So let's see what comes up. Next time I'm at the grocery store, remind me to pick up eggs.
Sure. Remind you when you get to grocery store. The closest one is Jewel-Osco on 13200 Village Green Drive in Huntley. Is this the one you want?
Yes.
Sure thing. Remind you to pick up eggs when you get to Jewel-Osco. Is that right?
Yes.
Got it.
Awesome. So now she's going to remind me. I do have a Windows phone, so Cortana is on Windows, but she is also on Android now. So for those of you who have Android, there is a beta app and you can test her out, and she should be able to remind you on your phone. Because I'm sure not a lot of you carry your laptops to the grocery store. I might be the only one. So it's pretty cool because besides all this notification stuff, like reminders and things, she has a pretty fun and light side to her. So you can ask her to do an impression or ask a joke. So I'm going to see what kind of joke she has to do. Tell me a joke.
Why do sharks live in salt water? Because pepper water makes them sneeze.
And it's pretty great. I don't know if you guys noticed, but she actually sounds like a person. She doesn't sound like a normal computer. She doesn't sound like Microsoft Sam or Microsoft Bob. And it's pretty great because you can relate to her in a different way. And it's weird because I'm talking to her, right? But it's just, she's my best friend. So besides having Cortana in the search box here, this is actually where you can find literally anything on your computer, or anything, period. So let's say I'm looking for a document, or you're looking for a picture or something. I can easily type in whatever I want, and she's going to show me everything that's on my computer with that keyword in it. So recently I worked on an achievement board for work, and I put it in a folder. So she's showing me everything and everywhere that's saved. So you can see the first thing is OneDrive, because that's where I mainly save all my stuff. But you can also see she's recommending apps from the App Store. She's also showing me any documents, so I have a publisher document here. And then she's also recommending web searches. If I wanted to go a little deeper, I can easily click on My Stuff or Web, and she will do either of those searches. So for instance, if I click on My Stuff, she's going to ask me, okay, do you want me to show by the most relevant or the most recent? And then I can easily find the location of any of these. So she literally shows me any icons that it's in every single location, and then any pictures that are related to that word that I searched for. So it's pretty great, because half the time I don't remember when I save anything. So the fact that I remember a word in a document is pretty surprising. That's pretty nice. Otherwise, you can always search the web, and she'll open up Microsoft Edge. And this is actually the new Internet Explorer, which is pretty great. This is actually my favorite part of Windows 10. And the reason I say that is because there's so many new features in it, and they're so useful. So for instance, I'm going to go to, MSN. I'm just going to look up an article real quick. So let's do something that's not so sad. All right, let's do... We'll do this wildfire one just because it's been a really big thing happening. So usually when you read an article, you're on a website and yeah, you can kind of read it, but there's so many distractions on the page. It's very difficult to see. Like right now, like Sprint's trying to offer me a phone that I don't want, and I have all these top stories, and maybe I want to buy that Nissan. But normally, I just want to read my article. And what's great about Microsoft Edge is that there's actually what's called Reader View now. And if you look up top here by the address bar, it looks like a little book. When it's unactivated, it's gray, but when it realizes that there are distractions, it turns black. So you can actually click on that, and what it does is it gets rid of all of the distractions, and I'm sorry, I clicked twice. So it gets rid of any of the distractions, and it makes it very easy to read, similar to like a Kindle or a Nook style. And it's great because you can actually change all of these settings in the Microsoft Edge settings. So if you want to have it like a black background with white letters, or you want to change the font size, you can do that. So just another way you can personalize your computer and your experience on Windows. And you also have Cortana built right into this browser as well. So if anything you want information on, so let's say we don't know what a drought is. I can easily right click on that word. I can right click, and look who's here with us, Cortana. So I can ask Cortana, and instead of doing a separate search, she'll actually just open up a sidebar with any information on what I need. So it's pretty great. It works with restaurants. She'll give you reviews, hours, pretty much anything you need to know, even locations, so you can call them through Skype. She'll give you nutritional information for ingredients and food. She'll give you anything on people. So, I mean, it really works. Anything you need more information on, you can just ask her and she'll pull it up for you. So it really lessens the amount of tabs you need open, which is great. But that's not even my favorite part. So for those of you with a touchscreen or, you know, with a Surface, or mainly with the touchscreen, you can still do this with the mouse, but it's a little easier with the touchscreen. It's actually what's called WebNote. And what that does is it actually allows you to take notes on the web page directly. So all I have to do, I'm just going to take my pen here, and right up top, there's a little share button here. There's also a little one that looks like a Post-it with a pen on it, and that's what I'm going to click on right here. So this is WebNote, and it's going to open up a little purple toolbar up here, and I'm going to have a few different options. So the first one that's highlighted, that's just for me to move around the page. And then I also have a pen here. So I can actually click on the pen. I can change the color based on the color of the web page or what I want to circle. And I can take a pen, I can change the thickness of it, and I can actually write directly on it. So it's awesome. I use this for shopping a lot. But you can use it for just about anything. Right next to that is a highlighter, so you can actually highlight things. And there's an eraser just in case you mess up. So it's pretty great. There's also little comment boxes. So if you don't want to mark up your document, but you still want to take notes, you can easily click on there. There's a little box that pops up. And you can just type in your comments, and they'll just pop up right away. If you want to delete them, there's a little trash can icon, boom, it's gone. And then you also have this one next to it, which is actually just kind of like the snipping tool. But instead of having to open up a new window, it just lets you drag, and now it's copied. And you can paste that anywhere, email, documents, pretty much anything you want to copy it to. But what's really nice about WebNote is that you can actually save these notes, and you can share them with other people. So right up top, on the right corner, there's a little, looks like a floppy disk. And you can actually save it in 3 different places. So you can save it in OneNote, which is our digital notebook. And that's great. It's cloud-based, you'll never lose any notes, and it's free for every platform. There's also your favorites, so you can save it there. And then there's also your reading list, which saves it offline. So you can actually read it without being connected to the internet, which is pretty great. So all I have to do is click Add, and now it's in my reading list. I can click Exit, and it'll reload the page without any annotations, without any comment boxes. And if I want to just find it, there's a little hamburger menu up here, which is our hub. And this is where you're going to find your reading list, your favorites, your downloads, and your history. So here you can see I have a WebNote. I was looking up light bulbs the other day. So you can see all the stuff I highlighted. So that's pretty great. I don't have to redo any searches because I already have the notes that I need. It's pretty awesome. Not every website works in Microsoft Edge yet, though. It's still new, and they're still, updating websites. So for that reason, Internet Explorer still exists. So So to get there, the easiest way is to click on the 3 dots here. These are, it's called the ellipses actually, it's right underneath the X. And if we click on that, you'll actually have the option to open it with Internet Explorer. So if you click on that, it's just gonna, oh, I don't know why it won't work. Oh, because it's a web note. It's a web note, haha, see?
Yeah.
It does work, but I just opened up an old web note, that's why. But Internet Explorer is still there, which is nice for legacy websites. The only site I've had a problem with is Target. That makes me sad, but that's okay. But with Microsoft Edge, it's pretty great. You have settings here that you can change. So instead of starting with a blank tab page, it gives you options. What do you want to start with? You can have multiple home screens here. So you can have a start page, which actually gives you all of your top news right up front. So if I click on that and I open a news tab, you'll see what I mean here. So it literally gives you top sites and then a bunch of news and a bunch of everything. So you don't have to even go to like MSN or CNN or anything because it's all there. And then you also have the option to open up with a specific page. So if you have lots of pages that you like open right away, all you have to do is click on specific page or pages. There's a little drop down here. You just click custom and you type it in here. So if I want to go to Pinterest, because that's pretty addicting, I can just click on Pinterest. And now, it should have opened with Pinterest. Saved it. Here we go. I forgot to add it. So now, never mind. It doesn't want to do it. But it normally does. Alright. And you can customize just about anything you want, like I said. So you choose your topics. And that's how it knows what's on your start page. So that's pretty great. Okay. The next thing I'm going to move on to is what's called Snap or Task View. So I'm just going to open up a couple different windows here. And you guys are going to notice just some of the behaviors that you can do when you're resizing windows. So I have the option now to actually, so if you click on the title bar here, if I click on the left, or the right, I mean, if you drag it all the way to the corner, you're going to get the typical snap that you're going to get with Windows 7. So if I let go, it's a little different now. Because now I can see everything else that's open on the side here, and that makes it a lot easier for me to either fill in that other half of the screen or just see what I have open. So if I click on my App Store, here we go. Now it automatically filled that second half. So I don't have to worry about resizing, moving the little arrows, because sometimes that gets really annoying and it's difficult. So they've made it a lot easier. Besides doing just 2 apps though, now you have the option to do a quadrant snap. So that means 4. So instead of dragging it to the edge, and you'll notice, I don't know why it's doing it. You can actually drag it to the corner. And I know it's a little hard to see, but there's a little like ghosting box right in between where it says continue with Facebook, that little blue box. And if I let go, it'll do quadrant. So I can actually have up to 4 things open at the same exact time. And it sizes it to where everything is still fully functional, which is great. But let's say we have a lot of stuff and we want to work on a separate screen, but we can't find our video adapter, or you just don't have a second monitor. Well, you don't need one anymore. Because we can actually click on this little button right next to Cortana. It looks like a little box. It says Task View once I hover over it. And this gives me everything that's open right now. But if you look in the lower right corner, it gives me the option to open up a new desktop. So I can actually open up as many virtual workspaces as I want to work with. So now I have 6. So that means I can have one for, just my music, or one for work, or one for play, or pretty much whatever you want to designate those desktops for. And it's awesome because it's super easy to switch things. So now that I have these 6 desktops open, all I have to do is drag things to the ones that I want. So I just multitask in a more efficient way here. Because now I have more screens, I have more workspace, I can get a lot more done. So it's pretty nice. And then once I'm done with those, all you have to do, I'm saving questions for the end. All you have to do is there's a little X here, and you can just tap, and now they're closed. And anything that's in a desktop, so you can see I had something in desktop 3 and I closed it, it'll automatically move it to the next desktop over. So it moves the Pinterest screen over to the second desktop here. And now everything's on the first one. So it's pretty nice. Next thing I'm going to go over is just our App Store. It's a little different than any other App Store that you've probably experienced. And I say that because our App Store is what's called a universal App Store. So what that means is it's one app and it works across every single device that you own. It can be Xbox, phone, PC, tablet. It's the exact same app using the exact same data. You don't need to purchase multiple versions. And 85% of our apps are free, which is awesome. Plus, you can try a lot of them before you buy them. So here you have a ton of different categories. You have the most popular, top free apps, etc. And it's great because most of the apps are actually cloud-based. So let's say I start a game of solitaire on here, I can easily take that same game onto my phone and finish it. It knows exactly where I left off. So that makes our app store just a little different. Besides it being available on everything that you own, so it's pretty great. You get the whole ecosystem working. I know, right? Everyone's looking at Farmville. So it's pretty great. Plus, this is where you'll also buy your music and any TV shows or movies. Just gonna flip out of these. So the last thing I want to show you guys is what's called Notification Center. So a lot of you guys with Windows 8 know that there are charms on the side. For those of you with Windows 7, you're getting something new now. If I swipe in from the right, or if I click on this little speech bubble by the time, it's actually going to give me all my notifications for all of my apps. So you can see here I have notifications for my mail and my Insider Hub. So pretty much I have everything. I can just clear those out if I want to, but it's awesome because I didn't even have to open my email to see that I had email. Plus at the bottom here you have quick toggle settings. So this is going to do a couple of things. So the first one is going to be tablet mode, and this is going to be more for touchscreen devices or for those people that want those same Windows 8 gestures. If I click on tablet mode, just check out what happens to the taskbar. Everything is smaller and the start screen is larger because now it knows, hey, I'm a tablet. I'm going to use my hands for this. So if I click on something and open it up, I get to use the same exact gestures that I use in Windows 8. So for instance, if I was going to close, I would take my finger or take my mouse to the top and I'd get the X. But all I have to do is swipe down. So you're getting those same exact gestures and features that you're going to get. It just looks a little different. So if you want to get to that menu that I showed you guys earlier with all your apps, we're going to click on this hamburger menu here to expand it. And now I can just click on all apps and I'm back to where I was. So everything is the same, but gestures are just a little different. And I can easily get in and out of that. For instance, I have a Surface, so if I take the keyboard off, it automatically knows I'm going into tablet mode. So it makes things a little bit more touch friendly. And once I'm out of tablet mode, it brings it back into desktop mode here. You also have a quick note option now. So I brought up OneNote earlier. So for instance, I have a Surface here. This little button on the top of my pen actually opens up that quick note. But for a lot of people who don't have Surfaces, you can just click on this little button. It opens up our OneNote app, and you can start taking notes right away. So it's pretty great. And then you also have your all settings here, which is probably the most important, just because Windows updates are no longer in Control Panel. So this is actually where you're going to be able to change just about anything you want. So if I go into personalization here, this is where I can change my background, I can change my picture. And what's nice is that it can actually pick a color based off of your desktop background. So let's say you have a cool, autumn background coming up and you can't find that perfect orange, Windows 10 will find it for you. This is also where you can change like lock screen and themes. So before, where you would right click and personalize to change your background, this box opens up now. So it's just a little bit easier to go through. And this is also where you can make it so you have a full start screen all the time instead of just in tablet mode, for those of you who like the Windows 8 look. Okay. To go into updates, just right under personalization here, and this is where you're going to have a couple options. So I have a couple updates I need to do, but this is where they will all come from. And when you're doing updates, you'll actually see in the notification center that it's saying it's pulling updates from multiple places. So it's actually doing your Windows updates, your App Store updates, your Office updates, all at one time. So you don't have to go into everything individually and update them separately, because chances are, you're gonna miss something. By default, Windows 10 comes with Windows Defender. So this is where you'll actually be able to turn it on and off. And then also, this is where you can refresh your computer. So if something isn't working properly, this is where you can actually do a restore, or in this case, you can see it says go back to an earlier build. So for those of you who have upgraded to Windows 10 and you guys are seeing problems, this will actually recommend going back to either Windows 7 or Windows 8, and it'll just use that product key that you already have. So you have 30 days. After those 30 days, you can still upgrade back to 10. You just won't be able to revert back. Okay. This is also where you can add accounts and things. So now, by default, it'll have you sign in with a Microsoft account. For those of you who don't have a Microsoft account, it's very easy to sign up for one. I can show you the process of it. You don't need a new email address. You can use your existing one as a username. Just remember your password. But the great part is that you have a bunch of different sign-in options. So you can have a regular long password if you want. After you set up Windows 10, it'll actually recommend you to make a PIN. So that's a 4 to 8-digit number. That way you can just punch it in and get in. You can also do a picture password, which you just pick a picture, do a few gestures, and it'll unlock your computer for you. Or an option that I don't have here that I can show you is called Windows Hello. And that's what the video with the babies was talking about, where you won't have to remember your passwords. Because most computers now, they have like 3D cameras on them, or they have fingerprint scanners, and your computer will know it's you by either scanning your face or scanning your retina and unlocking your computer for you. So it's pretty great. And you need the 3D camera, otherwise someone could just take a picture of your pretty face and unlock your computer. So I'm just going to show you what Windows Hello is going to be like. Oh yeah, by the way, this is Get Started. This is on every Windows 10 system. So if you forget anything, or I know sometimes there's like a ton of new stuff, it's really hard to remember everything. Right on your start menu here, under most used, it's always going to be there. And this basically shows you everything that's new. So we pretty much covered just about everything except for some of the saving and syncing stuff. But this is really going to show you everything. So it's going to show you where Start menu is, who Cortana is, how to use Microsoft Edge. So it really is a great resource for any tutorials and any information that you need on anything new. Windows Hello here. Let me see if I can get this video to load. It's loading, so we'll give that a second here. But overall, it's a completely familiar and more productive Windows. And it really, you do really get to personalize it any way that you want, which is pretty great. So I think 15 minutes left. I think I can start taking questions now. But please wait until either Jim or John bring you the microphone, so that way everyone can hear your question and you can hear me respond. So I think they're going to walk around and they're going to pick people. So please keep your hands up high, and I'll be sure to get to you.
Susie?
Annie, if I have apps on my iPhone and my iPad, are those apps able to move over to the to my Windows 10, or must I download, like, say, the weather app or Fox News or something like that again?
They come from a different market. So her question was, I have apps on my iPad and my iPhone. Can those apps come to Windows 10? Well, they come from different markets. So unfortunately, you would have to download a new version from our market. But with Windows 10, they are making it a lot easier for iOS developers and Android developers to bring their apps over. So hopefully soon we'll be able to have every single platform, or every single app, I should say, from every single market.
Thank you.
I have Windows 10 put on my computer for me to download. You suggested that I don't do it yet. Will they send me a new Windows?
We will not send you new Windows, but that's a great question. Sorry, I forgot his name, said earlier, not every computer is ready for Windows 10 yet, which is why we haven't released it all yet. So I'm just going to go to the Windows website here, and this is a way that you guys can check at home whether or not your computer is ready or not. So if you just go to windows.com, you guys are going to see a Windows 10 app here, or Windows 10 tab, and you're going to go to how to upgrade, okay? Most of you probably already have the little icon at the corner of your screen by the time, and it'll tell you if your computer is ready or not. For some of you guys, it might say, oh yeah, we're ready to go, we got everything ready for you, but for some hardware, just because of the drivers and the hardware itself, it's just not ready yet. But if you go to Windows 10 tab, for upgrade of Windows 10, so I'll just do that again. So windows.com, Windows 10 tab, and how to upgrade. If you don't already have Windows 10, you're gonna get a little reserve box here. And this is where it'll be able to do the checker for you. So it doesn't show up on mine because I already have Windows 10, but it'll say reserve your free upgrade. It'll download a compatibility checker, and it'll let you know when Windows 10 is ready for you.
Annie, let me tell you a little more about that. We've got about 40 monitors and technicians in the lab. Almost none of them have been trained on Windows 10. So when you download Windows 10 and have a problem and you bring it into the lab, you know more about Windows 10 than our monitors do. The monitor's been very busy updating the lab and moving to the new location, and we haven't done any training yet on that. We've had 8 people come in so far that have tried to download Windows, and it's locked up their computer. And we can't get into the safe mode, and we're really not sure what to do to get these unlocked. So have a little patience. Wait at least another month before you try to download it, and we'll try to keep you updated with the newsletter on when we have a little bit of training and can give you some help with it.
Or if you guys would like, I am based out of the Woodfield location. We are actually doing free Windows 10 upgrades and hardware diagnostic checks. So for those of you who are just curious, you guys are more than welcome to come by and we can help you out until they all get trained and become experts. And this, go ahead.
For Windows 7 and 8 users, is there a cutoff date when those will expire and we'll be forced to use Windows 10, whether we want to or perhaps need to?
Support for Windows 7, I think, ends in a couple years. Windows 8 is still going to be supported. You do have a year to upgrade for free to Windows 10. So you have until July 29th of next year to upgrade or to decide if you want it or not. After the year, if you do choose to upgrade later, once you're comfortable with it, you can just easily buy a license and install it yourself. But we're not going to force you to download Windows 10.
We have Carl sitting on our, wait for the mic.
Yeah, I'll wait for the mic.
Okay. On Windows 7 now, you can set your upgrade settings so that it won't automatically upgrade. And is that still in Windows 10?
Yeah. So under settings, I just want to update in security. Under advanced options here, I can choose how updates are installed. So I have mine set automatically, but you can have it notify you first.
Okay. The reason I ask is because we travel a lot, and we don't want automatic updates coming when we're on cellular data.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why I asked.
Windows 10, no, if you're using Windows 10 or I guess Windows 7 too, it should know you're on a metered connection, so it hopefully shouldn't even want to do them, because it knows that you're on a cellular connection.
I've downloaded 10 about a month ago. Naturally, there were problems, but it seems to be working now. Let me ask you a question. How do I download the games that I used to play on 7? I mean, you just went to games and you got a whole bunch of free games. You get games on 10, it's a matter of Googling it or Binging it, and then you find out you have to listen to ads or you gotta sign up.
Nope, that's what our app store is for. So you can easily click on the little bag. There's a games option at the top here, and there are probably a lot more free games than you had.
They're called what?
There are probably a lot more free games that you had before in our app store. And you can easily browse through these. You don't have to download any extra software to get them to work. The app store, yeah.
You were talking about opening a lot of pages at once or a lot of sites at once. I'm a writer. And one of the things I get is I will get feedback from my agent and from my editor on changes I have to make. I need 2 monitors to do that now. And you were saying I won't need that then?
You don't.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make certain I was hearing right.
Yep, you're good.
Hello. I downloaded Windows 10 about 3 weeks ago. It will not operate on with Internet Explorer or Edge. It locks up. I can get around with Chrome. I've tried calling the site. I mean the Windows Store at Woodfield, and 45 minutes, an hour, and still nobody picks up. I mean, you just keep getting the same. How do you suggest getting help with this? Because I do need my computer.
Sure. Unfortunately, our phone number that's listed on our website goes to a call center. So we understand, it may not be the best experience to call. So what I recommend doing is going on our website. This is going to be the easiest and the fastest way to reserve a spot to come into our store. And that website is microsoftstore.com/Schomburg. And that'll bring you directly to this page here. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see a Get Help from Experts tab. And then you can schedule what's called an answer desk appointment. And this will schedule you a consultation with one of our certified technicians, and they can answer your questions or help you with any technical difficulties that you may have. Also, check your Windows updates. There have been quite a few big can't say that word. Some really big firmware updates and cumulative updates that should fix your Microsoft Edge problem.
I have Windows 10 on my.
I have Windows 10 on my email. It was not made clear to me how I could delay taking it. Do I have to save it or something like that?
By saying you have Windows 10 in your email, did you get an email about Windows 10?
I got an email, right. And it's just been sitting there. So I'm not going to be doing it for another month. Is there some way I could save it, put it aside, get it off my email?
Yeah, you can flag it, you can archive the email to look for later if you'd like. It's probably just a notification though, so I wouldn't be too worried about it.
Okay.
Just a few more minutes here. I think we have it on the side here.
Annie, that's a suspect email might be jumping over that. We've got no emails on Windows 10.
John's got it.
I'd be very careful about that.
Yeah, also just make sure if you do receive any emails from Microsoft, hover over the address and make sure it's an @microsoft.com link. We do have a lot of unfortunately, we do have a lot of people coming in saying that they've been called by Microsoft and that they have viruses on their computer or something of the sort. Just always remember, Microsoft will never contact you if you have, they'll never tell you that there's something wrong with your computer and that you have to remote into a website to do it. Because some people will get a phone call saying that the computer has a ton of stuff on it, and then they'll have them go to a website, they'll have them type in their credit card number, and then the person now has not only your credit card number, but now they also have access to your computer. And unfortunately, we would never ask you to do any of that at all, just for security and privacy. Please be careful what emails you're reading.
You had addressed virus protection. Is Defender, is it?
Defender is a built-in virus protection that we have offered since 7. It's built in. Windows 10 on its own is probably our most secure operating system. And keep in mind, we do also do free virus removals at our store as well. So just in case.
All right, to continue on, do we need to purchase an additional virus protection?
You do not.
Yeah, not at all? Defender takes care of everything?
Yes.
What we're recommending in the computer lab, if you have Comcast gives you Norton for free. And we recommend that you do that. If you have AT&T, you have McAfee for free. So if you have either one of those ISPs, use their free virus protection. The Defender is a good alternative. AVG is a good alternative. You really don't need to buy virus protection.
It's all personal preference as well.
Ann, could you tell everybody where you're located?
Yeah.
In Schaumburg?
Sure.
At
So here's the
Woodfield?
address. We're in Woodfield Mall. So if you were to come visit me, I know it says we're down the Nordstrom wing. We're actually closest to the entrance between Red Robin and Panda Express. So right in between JCPenney and Nordstrom. Let me see if I can draw a little.
On the first floor, huh?
Yeah, we're on the first floor. So I'm going to use my web note here to draw a really bad map of where we are. Okay? So here is JCPenney. That's not a P, that's an R. It wraps around like this, and then there's Nordstrom. I know, I got excited. Nordstrom is here. Here's the parking lot. And then right over here, you're gonna see Red Robin, and you're gonna see a Panda Express, and here's an entrance. So you're gonna go in there. Once you walk in, there's gonna be, well, Panda obviously here, there's gonna be a shoe store. You're gonna turn left. There's gonna be Brookstone. And then there's gonna be us. So it's really easy. Please don't park in the Nordstrom parking garage. I don't want you to be mad at me. And also, if you guys have big desktops, let us know in the notes for your appointment. We actually have a side door right here. So you can just pull your car up and we can carry it in for you. And then you can just walk in the normal way. I told you it was a bad map. But at least now you know where we are. And there's also bows right here, so if you see the bows, you gotta go the other way.
I have a quick question. I've got an old laptop that's running Vista. Does it make sense for me to even think about downloading 10?
No. I would honestly, we have some awesome deals right now on computers. Most of our PCs, $599 and up, are actually $100 off. Plus, none of our stuff comes with trialware or bloatware on them, so they're clean. Plus, we'll help you set it up for you. I recommend either getting a new computer or, waiting for that one to, to die. Yeah. It makes me sad. So I'm going to leave my bad map up just in case anyone needs it.
Okay, do we have any more urgent questions? Okay, I think we can thank Annie for an excellent job. We all know where we're going to get the problem solved with any of those computers that are locked up. Schaumburg.
We also have, there are also some handouts on the table here. One of them is for free personal training. It's an hour-long session, individual session. So, based on my workshop or any questions that you have, you're more than welcome to take one of those. book it online, come in, make a list of questions, and we'll address everything that you want to learn about.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd just like to ask one question. How many people that were standing in the back are going to come next week and want a seat? Next week, I think we'll have one less row of tables. Thank you. Next month, I should say. Thank you.
You did a great job. Yeah.